Hey, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Adrian here. I originally envisioned this being a segment as a part of a bigger vlog series, but that said, I realized that this video or this discussion in itself warrants its own video. And when I say this, I do mean the situation as a whole that's ongoing right now, globally, in that of COVID-19 and the coronavirus. I shot a video over a week ago talking about like kind of the state of things here in San Francisco and how we're handling things as a business in lieu of all this. And in a week, so much has changed. So I just kind of want to sit down here and address all that because I think, as a content creator, as somebody who a decade ago started this platform, I always thought it was a social responsibility with the platform I have, no matter how big or small, to produce and push the messages that I believe in, and this is no exception. It's funny, when I was born and raised. I was born out in Okinawa, Japan, on a little military base, and I was naive to a lot of what went on in the world around me when I was younger, in that it happened and I was just kind of there, and everything was so exempt because I kind of lived my life, and everything that was happening stateside or abroad or what have you, it didn't affect me, needless to say, and I felt like it was more of like I was looking at it as a me versus a we situation. And now that I'm obviously much older and can comprehend things more at a global scale, a situation like what we're in now is very much a we and not a me issue. And if you're watching this video, whether you think it does or doesn't, it does affect you. The state of things right now are pretty crazy. Obviously, it's a day-by-day basis, and a lot of things are changing. I know here in San Francisco, we are now in a citywide mandate to be sheltered in place for non-essential travel. So anything outside of like work, if your business is open, or traveling for like groceries, is all, that's the only reason you should be out and about. And that being said, we are seeing a lot of cities and states and places putting a lot of these practices and processes in place to help mitigate the spread of the virus, because statistically it's shown things like social distancing and preventing large groups, gatherings, and whatnot, helps mitigate the risk of spread of something like this, and for it to go any larger scale than it already has. To be over prepared and overreacting rather than under prepared and underreacting, I think, is always a good motto in situations like these. But it is a situation like in my personal lifetime that I can't think of or comprehend like I can obviously at this point in my life, in the sense that it's something that affects everybody globally. It's happening to everybody at the same time. Not needless to say, there are always terrible things in the world that happen, unfortunately, on a day-to-day basis. But to see it affect so many at the exact same time, and even outside of like your own circle, it is shocking, right? And there's ripple effects because of this, right? Of course, this there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the air right now in the society as a whole. Fear of getting the virus, fear of spreading the virus, fear of what's going to happen to the economy in light of everything that's happening. A lot of stuff going on. And there are these ripple effects as a result of that, because businesses have to shut down, right? Retailers are shutting down. Restaurants have to shut down. That means the business owners get affected. That means their employees in turn get affected. That means people lose jobs, and this is already starting to happen. We've seen people lose jobs. We've seen businesses do layoffs. We've seen people do furloughs. So this is where that ripple effect starts to take place. And there's a lot of uncertainty and doubt in when these things are going to resume, when schools are going to resume, when businesses will be able to open again, when some people will be able to go out at a very basic level, right? We see Italy and Spain in situations like these, right? And it's tough times, but it's also reminds us of the importance of us being a collective, the importance of us working together and going through this together, because it is affecting everyone. It's an important reminder, I think, at a time like this, to be kind, to be considerate, and above all, to think outside of just yourself. And I think when it comes down to like how you as an individual can help at a time like this, there's a lot of different ways, right? You can donate to charities, and all these organizations are ongoing to help contribute and fight the good fight and everything that's going on. I know San Francisco has a bunch that I've been looking into locally that I'm sure other cities and places have their own set up, and then there's of course global ones. Supporting your local business is a small act of kindness, and that of those who aren't shut down, they're heavily affected by this, so buying local can help out a lot. Things like, for example, here in Silicon Valley, something I've seen a lot, which has been great, even amongst our clients, is social media, like sharing people who've been unemployed, like sharing their resume, sharing their profiles. There's been a round of layoffs at some startups, and people are, sharing those their friends or friends who have been unemployed to help them get back on their feet. And stuff like that goes a long way, and it's completely free. And at the bare minimum, the basic human level, you can stay home, you practice good hygiene, all these things that you've seen plastered everywhere, and you should know by now. But social distancing, all these things, they really do work, and they do help in preventing that. And you got to understand, it's not this thing about I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm exempt from this, it's not going to happen to me. If it does happen to me, I'm going to be okay because of, again, X, Y, Z. It's not about that. It's about the greater good. It's about, even if you can, weather it out or what have you, it's about the people who may be affected by that. It's about who they pass it on to. It's that chain that if you can stop it from the get-go, then why not? Because there's going to be somebody along that chain that can't handle that. And I promise you, not going out for a couple weeks, not going to the bars, not going to the club, it's not going to kill you, but I can guarantee you that there are people being killed by this virus, right? This doesn't mean total social isolation. This doesn't mean never go outside. This doesn't mean, you can't do specific day-to-day things to live your life. You can, just within consideration and within moderation. And in removing the idea that it's about me, it's about how I feel and whatever. The NBA got shut down. The people who arguably being healthy is a top priority, if not they are the optimal state of that. And if these people didn't know that they had it, what's that to say for the average human being at the end of the day? Needless to say, be kind, be considerate, and like I said, try to remove yourself from the situation and understand it's a we problem, not just a you issue. In that sense, above all, try to get through this and remain optimistic. There's dark times, there's tough times ahead, I'm sure, but it's important to play your small role. Doing any of those things, whatever it is, playing the small part in helping the global collective, I think, is always important. Now, I sit here and say all this with that in mind. I sit in a privileged position, right? If the music was to stop, if the world economy was to hold up tomorrow, if I was to, even if the current business would network right, we were to lose all of our clients for the next couple months, 2 months, what have you, I'm going to be okay, right? Like, I'm an individual where I understand, like, I would be able to weather that, right? Financially, so on and so forth. I work and live in an industry where tech is predominantly always a necessity. It's always something that is going to be needed in business. And furthermore, it's a business that's very easily migrated to these situations like work from home and remote. And with all that said, there's a vast majority of the population and working class out there who don't have those opportunities, who have to work for a living, who have to do and put themselves at risk to put food on the table. So I understand it may sound like it's easy for me to say these things when I sit at that position, but I am acknowledging that. I have my personal obligations. I also have my obligations to our business, our employees, our clients, to make sure that we uphold the standard to, do our part in mitigating this situation we're in. I also, admittedly so, and I want to keep it completely transparent, have a investment business that is investing in this market right now. And we, as a business, our goal is to make money. And if that means making money in this current down market, that's the business responsibility I have. But on the flip side, I'm in a position where I've lived a life, right? I've had the fortunate ability to have said that I've lived many lifetimes in this current one, even at 25. I've made enough money in my lifetime, to be frank, and I believe in the idea of giving, not because you have, but because there are those in need. And I think this is a time where collectively we are in need. And if you can't give monetarily, if you can't contribute in whatever fashion, you can play some small role in contributing to that of getting us to where we need to be eventually. There are brighter times ahead. There are a lot of helpers out there, and I think that in a time like this, it's easy to focus on the bad and collectively all the whether it's the rampant ignorance or racism that's ongoing in the world right now, unfortunately. To ignore that and focus on the helpers, focus on the good, focus on the healthcare professionals, focus on the people out there fighting the good fight. And whether that means staying at home and quarantining and practicing, social distancing now and again for the current state of the future, to, of course, have a better future, then I think that goes a long way. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching.